probably know your zodiac sign. But what if I told you that's only page 1 of the story? The real secret lies in the 12 houses of astrology. They reveal your money habits, your love life, your career, even the parts of yourself you try to keep hidden. Sounds complicated? Don't worry. I'm breaking it down so simply that by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what each house means and how it shows up in your own chart without needing a textbook or a PhD in astrology. And if you stick with me to the end, I'll show you some deeper layers most people never even learn. The hidden rhythms of the houses, how they mirror each other, what it means when a house is empty, and even karmic lessons your soul might be carrying from lifetime to lifetime. And I'm Alina. Let's begin. Okay, so here's the deal. If astrology was a movie, the planets would be the actors. They've all got their personalities, like dramatic Mars, who's always ready to fight, or dreamy Neptune, who just wants to nap and vibe. The signs, those are the costumes. Mars in Aries is rocking a leather jacket and combat boots, while Mars in Libra is in a 3-piece suit, trying to keep the peace. Same actor, different outfit. But here's the part most people miss. The houses are the actual stages where all of this drama goes down. Think of them like rooms in your life's mansion. The first house, that's the front door and entryway. You vibe when people first meet you. The fourth house, that's the cozy kitchen, where family drama shimmers right next to the soup. The seventh house is like the master bedroom, where all your one-on-one relationships play out. Sometimes romantic, sometimes a roommate situation gone wrong. And the 10th house, that's the office corner you decorated just for Zoom calls. Your career, reputation, and how the world sees you. So when you put it all together, you've basically got this giant cosmic sitcom. The planets are the cast, the signs are their wardrobe department, and the houses are the stage sets. Every time you look at your birth chart, you're not just seeing random circles and symbols. You're picking at the script of your own show. Before we start walking room by room through the mansion, here's a question. Who even built this house? Where did the whole concept of the 12 houses come from? Because trust me, astrologers didn't just wake up one day and decide, you know what? Let's divide life into 12 neat little slices. The idea of houses goes all the way back to ancient Babylonian and Hellenistic astrology, thousands of years ago. Picture this: long before apps and co-star notifications, people were looking up at the sky, tracking the sun's path across the horizon. They noticed that when the sun rose, it marked a starting point. That point became what we now call the ascendant, the cusp of the first house. From there, they divided the sky into 12 sections, like cutting a cosmic pizza, each one tied to a different part of daily human life: birth, money, family, love, work, death, dreams. Sound familiar? In ancient Greece and Egypt, astrologers refined this system and gave each house a specific domain, kind of like saying, this slice is about family, that slice is about career, this one's about your secret fears. It wasn't random, they mirrored the rhythm of human life itself. The fourth house at the bottom of the chart was linked to home and roots. The 10th house at the top naturally became career and public image. See the poetry? The chart isn't just a wheel, it's literally the sky mapped onto your life. So when we talk about the houses today, we're not just reciting astrological jargon. We are carrying on a tradition that started thousands of years ago, when people first asked, if the stars reflect life, which part of life do they shine on? That question built the mansion we're about to explore. And before we start touring the mansion, let me let you in on a secret. The houses aren't just a random list. They're grouped into 3 big categories that show your journey from me to us to all of us. The first 6 houses, 1 through 6, are called the personal houses. These are your private rooms, the spaces where you figure out who you are, how you make money, what you value, your health routines, your daily life. It's very me, myself, and my side of the bed. The focus is inward, your identity, your stuff, your habits, your work. Think of it as decorating your own room before inviting anyone over. The houses 7 through 12 are the interpersonal and collective houses, sometimes called the public houses. This is where life stops being just about you and starts involving other people and the bigger world. House 7 introduces partnerships, your spouse, your best friend, even your enemies. House 8 digs into shared resources and power struggles. By house 10, you're standing in a career spotlight, facing society, reputation, and legacy. By the time you reach house 12, you're dealing with the collective unconscious. The mystery is bigger than the individual life. So it's kind of like leveling up in a video game. The personal houses teach you who you are. The public houses test how you use the identity when you're thrown into the group chat of humanity. One is your private diary. The other is your Instagram feed for the whole world to see. And that's the hidden rhythm of the chart. You start in the personal. This is me. And you end in the universal. This is how I connect with the world and what I leave behind. Alright, let's step into the first house. The grand entrance to your entire chart. Picture it like the front door of your mansion. Before anyone gets to see the kitchen drama or the bedroom secrets, they meet you right here. And here's the twist. This house doesn't just shape how others see you. It shapes how you walk into the world. The first house is ruled by Aries and powered by Mars, which means it's pure beginnings, raw energy. That I just got here, what's next vibe. It's your identity, your body, your vitality, the way you walk, the tilt of your head, the speed of your stride. It's all coded here. The stranger who swears you look confident or seem shy or give off mysterious energy. That's not random. That's your first house whispering before you even speak. And here's where it gets juicy. Your rising sign, the zodiac sign that sits on the cusp of your first house, sets the tone for your whole chart. It's the lens you view life through. Aries rising sees life as an action movie. Fast cuts, high stakes. Pisces rising, more like a dreamy indie film. Soft filters and cryptic symbolism. Your rising sign literally rearranges the furniture of your entire cosmic mansion, deciding where every other house falls. Change your rising and the whole story shifts. Now, what happens when planets camp out in your first house? That's when the plot thickens. If Venus is here, you've got charm for days. People find you magnetic, even when you're in sweatpants and haven't washed your hair in 3 days. If Mars sits here, you radiate intensity. People can't tell if you're about to kiss them or pick a fight. And if Saturn is here, you probably looked like a 40-year-old trapped in a 10-year-old's body. Serious, mature, carrying the weight of responsibility before recess even started. But don't be fooled. This house has a shadow. The first house is the mask you wear. Sometimes it lines up perfectly with who you are inside. Other times it's just your customer service voice. The version of you that smiles politely while your inner self rolls its eyes. That's why people might say, wow, you're so different once I got to know you. They met your first house first, and only later did they peek behind the door. And here's the kicker. Transits through your first house can shift the whole storyline. When Jupiter moves through, suddenly you're glowing. Everyone notices you. Opportunities come knocking. When Saturn passes by, life says, time to grow up. You'll feel heavier, more responsible, like you're carrying invisible armor. So the first house isn't just a doorway. It's your opening scene, your first line of dialogue, your reputation before you've even spoken. The question is, what role are you playing when the curtain rises? Now that you've crossed the threshold of the first house, let's step into the second house. And trust me, this is where things get real. This is the vault, the pantry, the walk-in closet of your cosmic mansion. It's ruled by Taurus and Venus, so it's all about money, possessions, values, and what makes you feel safe and satisfied. But don't let the word money fool you. This house runs deeper than your bank balance. Think of it like this. The second house tells the story of how you earn, how you spend, and here's the suspense, how you measure your own worth. Ever notice how some people feel secure with just a savings account and others need a whole Rolex collection to feel grounded? That's not chance. That's second house energy playing out. If Venus is chilling here, you might have a natural eye for beauty, style, maybe even the ability to make money through art, design, or anything aesthetically pleasing. People with Venus in the second house can walk into a thrift store and somehow leave looking like they robbed a luxury boutique. On the other hand, if Saturn parks here, money might feel hard-won, like you always have to work twice as hard to prove yourself, and your sense of worth might feel like it's on layaway. And let's talk about Taurus, the ruler of this house. Taurus loves stability, comfort, and all the good things in life. This is the house of candlelit dinners, cozy cashmere sweaters, the playlist you put on to feel grounded. But it's also about those deeper values you can't swipe a card for. Loyalty, self-respect, the stuff that actually keeps you standing tall when everything else falls apart. Here's the twist. The second house isn't just about what you own. It's about what owns you. The habits, the attachments, even the fears around losing security. That's why this house is both delicious and dangerous. It can tell you what truly makes you feel abandoned or what keeps you trapped, chasing things you don't actually need. So when you stand in your second house, ask yourself, is this where I'm collecting treasures that reflect my true values? Or am I stuck piling distractions because I'm scared to feel empty? That's the riddle this house leaves you with. Alright, let's head down the hallway into the third house. And if the second house was your vault, this one's your buzzing communications hub. Picture it like the busy living room, the neighborhood coffee shop, or the group chat that never stops going off. The third house is ruled by Gemini and Mercury, so you already know. It's fast, witty, curious, and a little chaotic. This house rules your voice, your mind, your siblings, your neighbors, all the people and places you bump into in daily life. It's the house of quick texts, inside jokes, grocery store small talk, and the random Wikipedia rabbit holes you fall into at 2 a.m. Basically, if the ninth house is all about big philosophy and higher learning, the third is about the everyday chatter that keeps your brain buzzing. If Mercury is here, your words have weight. You might be that person who can talk your way out of a speeding ticket or into a job interview you weren't even qualified for. If Venus lands in the third, you've got a sweet, charming way with words. People fall a little in love just hearing your stories. But if Mars is here, you're quick with comebacks, sharp with debates, and probably roasted your siblings into tears at least once. It's given verbal sparring champion. And because this house is linked to siblings and early education, it often tells the story of your first teachers, the brothers, sisters, cousins, or even childhood friends who shaped how you think. Remember those car rides, fighting in the backseat, or sharing secrets under the covers? That's the third house in action. It's not glamorous, but it sets the foundation for how you process the world. But here's the twist. The third house isn't just about talking, it's about listening. It's about the stories you absorb, the gossip you spread, the beliefs you inherit just because you heard them often enough. Which means the third house asks a very subtle question. Are you controlling the narrative of your life, or are you just repeating the noise of your environment? So next time you're deep in a group chat, sending memes and half-serious advice, remember, you're not just killing time, you're feeding your third house. And it's always hungry for more words, more ideas, more connection. Now, we've reached the fourth house, and this one feels different. If the third was loud with chatter and daily buzz, the fourth is quiet, dimly lit and heavy with memory. Think of it as the basement or the foundation of your mansion. It's ruled by Cancer and the moon, which means this house holds your roots, your family, your childhood, and the invisible strings that still tug at you, no matter how far you roam. This is the house of home, not just your current apartment with a slightly suspicious landlord, but the deep inner home, the place you crawl back to when life gets too loud. It's your emotional security blanket, your ancestral story, the ghosts of your upbringing. The fourth house reveals the soil your identity grew out of, whether that soil was nurturing or full of cracks. Planets here make their presence known. With Venus, home feels like a sanctuary. You're the type who lights candles, cooks comfort food, and makes everyone feel welcome. With Saturn, the story is heavier. Maybe you grew up too fast, carrying responsibilities before you were ready. Pluto in the fourth, that's generational intensity. The family secrets no one talks about, but that shape you all the same. And here's the twist most people don't expect. The fourth house also points toward the end of life, the return to your roots, the legacy we leave behind. It's both your childhood cradle and your final resting place. The beginning and the end, tied together in one invisible knot. So the fourth house isn't just where you live, it's what lives inside you. It asks, what kind of home did you come from? And more importantly, what kind of home are you building now? From the quiet roots of the fourth house, we swing open the door to the fifth house, and suddenly the mansion feels alive again. This is the playroom, the art studio, the candlelit lounge where people dance barefoot at 2 a.m. The fifth is ruled by Leo and the Sun, so of course it's dramatic, radiant, and unapologetically extra. This house rules creativity, romance, fun, and the kind of joy that makes life worth living. Think about it. This is where your inner child runs free. It's your hobbies, your artistic strike, your ability to flirt and fall in love just for the thrill of it. The fifth house is basically your cosmic playground. It's the poems you scribbled in high school, the karaoke nights you don't remember, but your friends still tease you about, the crush that makes you feel like you're starring in your own rom-com. Planets here really light things up. With Venus in the fifth, you're naturally romantic, playful, the kind of person who sends cute notes and plans picnics just because. With Mars here, you bring passion and fire. You chase love like it's an adventure sport. With Saturn, love and creativity might feel slower, more serious, like you don't hand out your heart unless someone really earns it. And if Jupiter is here, your joy is contagious. You're the friend who convinces everyone to just try it once and somehow turns a dull night into a story worth retelling. But here's the twist. The fifth house isn't just about fun and games. It's also the stage where your ego shows itself, where you crave recognition, applause, that moment in a spotlight, which means the fifth house asks, are you creating from joy or are you performing just to be seen? So yes, the fifth house is about romance, pleasure, and art, but deeper than that, it's about how boldly you let your inner fire shine. Do you play small or do you step into the light and say, this is me, watch me glow? After the fifth house lights up with romance and play, the sixth house brings us right back down to earth. If the fifth is the party, the sixth is the cleanup crew next morning. This is the laundry room, the office desk, the daily planner sitting on your nightstand. Ruled by Virgo and Mercury, the sixth house is all about work, routines, health, and the quiet systems that keep your life from falling into chaos. This is the house of service, how you show up for others and also how you show up for yourself. It's the boring but necessary stuff. Brushing your teeth, answering emails, meal prepping on Sundays. But don't underestimate it. Your sixth house is where small choices add up to big results. It's the house that asks, what habits are shaping you every single day? Planets here tell a big story. With Mars, You're a workhorse. You've got energy to burn, but you might also overdo it until burnout hits. With Venus, you want beauty in your routines. You're the type who'll buy matching pastel storage bins or splurge on a gym outfit just to feel cute while sweating. If Saturn is here, you probably had to learn discipline the hard way. Health, work, responsibilities don't feel optional. They feel like a contract written in stone. And if Neptune lands here, routines might feel slippery. Your sleep schedule, your diet, your work hours. They blur, dissolve, drift like fog unless you pin them down. Here's the shadow side. The sixth house can trap you in perfectionism, especially with Virgo energy running the show. It whispers that you're only as worthy as your productivity, your clean kitchen, or the boxes ticked off your to-do list. But the real lesson here, service doesn't mean self-sacrifice. It means alignment. The sixth house asks, are your daily rituals draining your spirit or quietly building the life you actually want? So while this house may not have the glamour of the fifth or the drama of the seventh waiting just ahead, it holds the real power. It's where you design your days, and your days stacked together are your life. Now we step through one of the most famous doors in astrology, the seventh house. If the first house was the front door you make your entrance, the seventh house is the mirror on the opposite wall, the place where you meet the other. This is the house of partnerships, ruled by Libra and Venus. So it's dripping with themes of balance, reflection, and connection. Think of it as the master bedroom of the mansion, the space you share one-on-one, for better or worse. This house covers marriage, long-term relationships, business partners, and even enemies. Yep, you don't get to choose who shows up in your seventh house. It's every person who forces you into a duet, whether you asked for the duet or not, which makes it both beautiful and terrifying. The seventh house reveals the parts of yourself you can only see when someone else is holding up the mirror. Planets here are loud. With Venus in the seventh house, relationships flow easily. You're charming, romantic, the natural partner everyone wants. With Mars, sparks fly. Passion, yes, but also conflict. You attract people who challenge you as much as they excite you. With Saturn, the seventh feels heavy. You might face delays in love, older partners, or karmic lessons that force you to take relationships seriously. And with Pluto here, forget casual. You pull in intense, transformative connections that shake you to the core. Think soulmate vibes, but also power struggles you'll never forget. Here's the twist. The seventh house isn't just about who you love, it's about who you become when you love. It's the cosmic mirror that asks, what do your partnerships say about you? Do you lose yourself trying to keep the balance? Or do you find the version of yourself you never knew existed? So when you open the seventh house door, you're not just meeting another person, you're meeting the hidden parts of yourself that only come alive in the presence of someone else. Welcome to the eighth house, the forbidden wing of the mansion. If the seventh house was the bedroom of partnerships, the eighth house is the locked chamber behind it, where intimacy, secrets, and power struggles live. This house is ruled by Scorpio and Pluto, so you already know it's not here to play nice. The eighth house is transformation, sex, resources, death, rebirth. Basically the stuff that makes most people squirm. But it's also where your deepest growth comes from. This is the house of what you merge with others. Money you share with a spouse, business deals that bind you, intimacy that goes beyond physical attraction and touches the soul. It's the inheritance you didn't ask for, the debt that ties you, the secrets whispered in the dark. The eighth house doesn't deal in surface level exchanges. It wants full surrender or nothing at all. Planets here can feel like fate. With Venus in the eighth, love is magnetic. You don't do casual, you do intensity. Attraction that feels almost karmic. With Mars, the sexual energy is undeniable. You love with passion, fight with passion, and sometimes blur the line between the two. Saturn here, relationships might feel like tests. You're asked to build trust brick by brick, often through hard lessons. And if Pluto is in its own house, everything about you screams transformation. You've probably died and been reborn a dozen times already, metaphorically speaking, shedding skins, burning bridges, rising again like the phoenix Scorpio is known for. But here's the eerie twist. The 8th house also rules endings. Death, yes, but not just in a literal sense. It's the death of old versions of yourself, of relationships that outgrow their form, of patterns you can't keep carrying. Which means this house doesn't just show your fears, it shows what you're destined to outgrow and build stronger. The 8th house whispers. What are you clinging to that needs to die? And what hidden power is waiting for you on the other side of that surrender? Walk through this room and you don't leave the same as you entered. From the secret chamber of the 8th house, we emerge into the 9th house. And it's like opening the mansion doors to an endless horizon. This is the library, the observatory, the airport terminal, all rolled into one. Ruled by Sagittarius and Jupiter, the 9th house is about expansion, wisdom, travel, higher learning, and the search for truth. If the 3rd house was your local neighborhood gossip, the 9th is philosophy class at midnight mixed with a boarding pass to somewhere far away. Here's where curiosity grows up. The 9th house isn't content with small talk. It wants the big questions. Why are we here? What's the meaning of life? Is pineapple on pizza a sin or a revelation? Spoiler, it depends on your chart. It's the house of spiritual awakenings, religious paths, and personal philosophies that shape your worldview. Planets here push you outward. With Jupiter in the 9th, you've got luck and opportunities that seem to follow you wherever you go, especially in education or travel. With Venus, you fall in love with culture itself, different languages, art, even long-distance romance. Mars here, you don't just travel, you conquer itineraries. The type to hike 3 countries in a week, just to say you did it. And Saturn in the 9th, you might struggle with strict beliefs or slow, disciplined journeys through education, but the wisdom you earn becomes unshakable. Here's the twist. The 9th house can make you a seeker, but also a preacher. Sometimes it's open-minded adventures. Sometimes it's clinging too hard to the one truth. The mansion's library can inspire freedom, or trap you in one set of dusty rules if you stop questioning. So the 9th house is your launch pad. It asks, how far are you willing to go? Geographically, intellectually, spiritually, to expand who you are. Step through this room, and suddenly the world is bigger than you ever imagined. After wandering through the 9th house library of philosophy and adventure, we ascend to the 10th house, the penthouse office of the mansion, with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the world. This is the house of career, reputation, status, and legacy, ruled by Capricorn and Saturn. It's where ambition lives, where you're seen in the public eye, and where you carve your mark on the world. If the 4th house was the roots, your private inner foundation, the 10th house is the opposite pole, the visible tree branches everyone else can see. It's the title on your resume, the reputation attached to your name, the way people describe you when you're not in the room. It's not about who you are at home, it's about who you are when the spotlight is on. Planets here shout their story. With Sun in the 10th, you're a natural leader, someone who was born to stand out in your career, whether you like it or not. With Venus, your charm, creativity, or aesthetic sense becomes part of your public reputation. You're admired for your taste, style, or diplomacy. If Mars is here, your drive is unstoppable. You climb ladders, start businesses, fight your way into positions of authority. With Saturn, though, the 10th house journey is slow and heavy. You build success brick by brick, sometimes after setbacks. But once you make it, your legacy endures. And Pluto in the 10th? That's power with a capital P. Fame, influence, or notoriety that can shake systems around you. But here's the twist. The 10th house isn't just about success. It asks what kind of success is truly yours. Are you chasing a title because the world told you to? Or are you carving a legacy that reflects your authentic self? Sometimes the 10th is the stage where we wear masks to please society. But Saturn, the ruler here, won't let the mask last forever. The real test is building a reputation that you can live with when the doors close. So when you step into the 10th house penthouse, ask yourself, when people look up at this tower and see your name shining on it, what do you want them to remember? From the high-rise authority of the 10th house, we drift into the 11th house, and suddenly the vibe shifts. This is the social lounge of the mansion, the rooftop party, the co-working space where friends, allies, and communities gather, ruled by Aquarius and traditionally Saturn, with a dash of Uranus rebellion. This house is all about friendship, networks, and those bigger dreams that are too big to chase alone. The 11th house isn't about one-on-one intimacy like the 7th. It's about groups, collectives, and the causes that pull you into something larger than yourself. Your best friends, your collaborators, your internet communities, even the clubs and organizations you join. They're all written in this house. It's also the house of hopes and wishes, the future you imagine and the people who help you build it. Planets here light up your societal destiny. With Venus in the 11th, friendships feel sweet and supportive. You might even fall in love with someone who started as just a friend. With Mars, you're the activist, the group leader, the one rallying people toward a common goal. With Saturn, friendships might be fewer but deeply loyal, quality over quantity. And if Uranus is here, expect unconventional connections. You attract the rebels, the outsiders, the ones who shake up your worldview. But here's the twist. The 11th house isn't just about friends. It's about alignment. Are you surrounding yourself with people who amplify your vision, or are you stuck in groups that drain you? This house reminds us that dreams aren't built in isolation. Your community becomes the scaffolding for your future. So when you stand in the 11th house, look around the room. Who's at your table sharing your vision? Because those alliances, the right ones, are the very thing that can turn your wildest hopes into reality. At last, we arrive at the 12th house, the final hidden chamber of the mansion. If the first house was the front door where life begins, the 12th house is the secret attic or the underground tunnel, mystical, foggy, and just a little haunted. Ruled by Pisces and Neptune, this is the house of endings, solitude, the subconscious, and the spiritual world that hovers just beyond what we can see. The 12th house is the place where the ego dissolves. Here, boundaries blur, dreams bleed into reality, fears slip out of the shadows, and secrets hide behind locked doors. It's the house of spirituality, meditation, creativity that comes from somewhere otherworldly. And yes, the self-sabotage we'd rather not admit to. This house is where you meet the parts of yourself you keep tucked away, even from yourself. Planets here feel like whispers from the unseen. With Venus, love feels spiritual and selfless. You fall for souls, not faces. With Mars, your energy might run underground, fierce but hidden, like a fire burning quietly behind the walls. Saturn here, it can feel like isolation, like life forces you into solitude until you learn strength in silence. And with Neptune, this house's ruler, the line between fantasy and reality can dissolve completely. You might channel art, poetry, or visions that feel divinely inspired, but struggle to stay anchored in a physical world. Here's the twist. The 12th house is both a sanctuary and a labyrinth. It can heal you through meditations, dreams, spiritual practices, or trap you in escapism, avoidance, even self-undoing. It's the house that asks, what happens when the lights go out? When it's just you and your inner world? Do you run from your shadows, or do you learn to dance with them? So the 12th house is the mansion's final test. To surrender, to let go, to dissolve the ego and trust the unseen. Because only when you've walked through this room, facing both your ghosts and your higher self, can you step back to the first house again, reborn and ready to start the cycle all over. So here's the big picture. The signs show how the energy plays out. The planets show what the energy is. And the houses show where in your life the action actually happens. Put them together and your chart stops being just a wheel of symbols. It becomes a living map of your life story. So here's the secret layer of astrology most people never learn. The houses aren't just 12 random rooms scattered around your chart. They are grouped into rhythms, like chapters in a play. These rhythms are called angular, succedent, and cadent houses. And together they create a pulse of your entire life story. Think of them as the leaders, the builders, the thinkers of your cosmic mansion. The angular houses 1, 4, 7, and 10 are the cornerstones. They are action-oriented, loud, impossible to ignore. When planets land here, life shifts. These are the front door, the foundation, the bedroom, and the penthouse office. Every time you step into an angular house, something begins. They set the stage. They push you forward. They are the moments when you can't just sit still. You have to move. Then come the succedent houses 2, 5, 8, and 11. These are the builders, the ones that hold and maintain. They're like the pantry stocked with food, the cozy playroom where love and creativity grow, the vault of shared resources, and the social lounge where friendships solidify. These houses take what the angular ones spark and give it form, weight, and staying power. Succedent houses are where you invest, stabilize, and anchor yourself so the story has substance. And finally, the cadent houses 3, 6, 9, and 12. These are the thinkers, the in-between spaces, the places of transition and learning. They are the buzzing living room full of chatter, the daily planner of routines, the library of philosophy, and the hidden sanctuary of dreams. Cadent houses don't shout or build, they process. They help you reflect, pivot, adapt, and prepare for the next big angular push. So the cycle goes like this. Angular house, ignite. Succedent houses build. Cadent houses reflect. Action, stability, reflection. Over and over again, like the inhale and exhale, and pause between breaths. It's the rhythm that keeps the mansion alive. When you understand the cycle, your chart stops looking like a static wheel of symbols and starts feeling like a living, breathing organism. Always moving, always pushing, always teaching you when to act, when to hold, and when to let go. If the angular, succedent, and cadent houses show us the rhythm of the mansion, then the elements show us its mood, its atmosphere, the flavor of each room. Just like the zodiac signs, the houses fall into fire, earth, air, and water, and together they create a cycle of experience that repeats through the chart. The fire houses 1, 5, and 9 are the spark. These are the rooms where life feels lit from within. Identity, creativity, belief. The first house is the fiery front door, the spark of selfhood. The fifth is the bonfire of love, joy, and expression. The ninth is the eternal flame of curiosity, philosophy, and exploration. Fire houses remind you why you're alive. They are bold, passionate, and they don't wait for permission. Then come the earth houses 2, 6, and 10. These are the mansion's solid beams and bricks, the places where you plant your feet. The second house is your vault of value and resources. The sixth is your daily workroom, routines, and health. The 10th is the grand office in a tower, your career, status, and legacy. Earth houses are practical, grounding, and sometimes demanding, but they are what make your dreams real. Without them, the mansion would crumble. Next are the air houses 3, 7, and 11. These are the corridors where conversations echo, where doors open into connection. The third house is chatter, learning, siblings, the local network. The seventh house is the grand mirror room, where partnerships form and reflections bounce back at you. The 11th is the rooftop lounge of friendships, communities, and shared visions. Air houses are social, communicative, and connective. They remind us that life isn't lived alone. And finally, the water houses 4, 8, and 12. These are the hidden chambers dripping with memory, depth, and mystery. The fourth house is the ancestral hearth, the family roots. The 8th is the forbidden chamber of intimacy, power, and transformation. The 12th is the dreamlike sanctuary, where the veil between conscious and subconscious blurs. Water houses stir emotions, open wounds and offer healing. They are the ocean currents beneath the mansion floor, unseen but impossible to ignore. Together, these elemental houses weave the whole human experience. Fire inspires, earth grounds, air connects, water feels. Every cycle of 4 houses asks you to ignite, build, share, and transform again and again until your mansion isn't just walls and rooms, but a living, breathing story. Now here's the part of the mansion that gives it balance. The houses aren't just individual rooms, they are built in pairs, each one facing the other like mirrors across a grand hallway. These opposites are called polarities, and they show the constant push and pull in your life story. Start with the 1st and 7th houses, self versus other. The first is the front door, your identity, how you step into the world. Across the hall, the 7th is the mirror, the people you meet one-on-one, your partners and even your rivals. Together they ask, how do I balance who I am with who I become in relationships? Then the 2nd and the 8th houses, mine versus ours. The 2nd is your vault of personal resources and values. The 8th is the vault you share with others, money, intimacy, transformation, and sometimes even loss. It's the tug of war between security and surrender. Next, the 3rd and the 9th houses, the local mind versus the big picture vision. The 3rd is the daily buzz, siblings, neighbors, chatter. The 9th is philosophy, spirituality, and faraway horizon. One collects details, the other searches for meaning. Together they remind you not to lose sight of the forest for the trees. The 4th and 10th houses, private roots versus public legacy. The 4th is your home, your family, the foundation beneath your feet. The 10th is your career, your reputation, the skyscraper everyone can see. This axis asks, how do I balance the weight of my private life with the demands of my public one? Then the 5th and 11th houses, personal joy versus collective vision. The 5th is romance, creativity, your individual spotlight. The 11th is friendship, communities, and causes bigger than yourself. Together they ask, how do I shine my light while still being the part of the constellation? And finally, the 6th and 12th houses, daily service versus spiritual surrender. The 6th is routines, health, and practical ways you show up every day. The 12th is the realm of dreams, solitude, and release. One is about order and detail, the other is about letting go and dissolving boundaries. Balance them and you learn how to serve both your body and your soul. So every house whispers to its opposite, tagging you back and forth like a pendulum. The secret isn't to choose one side, but to walk the whole way between them, learning that your life isn't made of isolated rooms, but of mirrored reflections that only make sense together. By now you might be wondering, what if a house in my chart is completely empty? No planets, no tenants, just silence. Does that mean nothing ever happens here? Not at all. An empty house doesn't mean the room is abandoned. It just means no one is living in it full time. The furniture's still there, the energy's still there, and the ruling sign of that house is still running the show behind the scenes. Think of it like this. You own a mansion with 12 rooms. Some rooms are always buzzing with guests, planets laughing, arguing, performing. Other rooms are empty most of the time, but they're still part of the mansion. You still walk through them, use them, and feel their influence. Empty just means it's not the main plot of your story. It's more like a background theme. Quiet, but still present. Now here's where it gets interesting. Transits. Planets don't stay still. They are constantly moving through the houses of your chart, like travelers checking in and out of different rooms. When Jupiter enters your 7th house, suddenly partnerships light up. New people walk into your life. Opportunities for growth show up in relationships. When Saturn drifts into your 10th, your career might feel heavy, demanding, like the boss of the universe just dropped by your office with a checklist. Even if your house was empty at birth, when a planet transits through, it's like someone throws a party in that room and you feel it. So empty houses aren't empty forever. They're waiting, quiet, patient, but alive. And transits are the movers and shakers, the cosmic visitors who come knocking. bringing lessons, blessings, or challenges depending on who they are. Which means the real secret of the houses is this: even the rooms that seem empty will eventually come alive. Every corner of the mansion gets its turn in the story. Every mansion has rooms that feel heavier, older, like they've been lived in for lifetimes before you even stepped through the door. In astrology, the houses can reveal not just your personality or daily routines, but your karmic lessons, the themes your soul keeps circling back to until the work is done. The most mysterious of this is the 12th house. This is the attic of the soul, where the dust of past lives still lingers. It's the house of residue, the habits, fears, and patterns you didn't consciously choose, but seem to carry anyway. Have you ever felt haunted by something you can't explain, like an invisible script you keep acting out? That's the 12th house speaking. It shows the ghosts of your karma, but also the key to your spiritual release. To move through it is to face your shadows, dissolve old chains, and learn the art of surrender. Then there's the nodal axis, the invisible line that stretches across your chart, connecting the north node and south node, always falling in opposite houses. This is where your mansion tells its soul growth story. The south node shows the house you've already mastered in past lives or early life, your comfort zone, the well-worn furniture you can sit in without thinking. But the north node lies across the hall, in a house that feels unfamiliar, sometimes uncomfortable. It's the room you're meant to grow into, even if you'd rather linger where it feels safe. Take the 1st and 7th houses, for example. If your south node is in the 1st, you've spent lifetimes building independence. You know how to stand alone. But your north node in the 7th whispers, it's time to learn partnerships, to grow through reflection in another's eyes. Flip it, and a 7th house south node might show a soul that's clung to relationships for lifetimes. Your north node in the 1st asks you to finally step into your own spotlight. Even nodal axis tells a karmic tale. 2nd versus 8th, security versus surrender. 4th versus 10th, private roots versus public legacy. 6th versus 12th, daily service versus spiritual transcendence. They're not just opposites, they're lessons in balance, growth, and integration, each one pulling your soul toward wholeness. So when you walk through your mansion and pause in these karmic rooms, don't be afraid of their weight. They're not punishments, they're invitations. The houses don't just show where your life plays out, they reveal where your soul has been, and more importantly, where it's still daring you to go. So now you walked through the mansion of the zodiac, from the fiery front door of the 1st house all the way to the dreamlike sanctuary of the 12th. Along the way, you've seen how the houses shape every corner of life: your love, your money, your work, your spirit. Remember, the signs show how the energy plays out. The planets show what the energy is. And the houses show where in your life the action happens. Together they create the living, breathing script of your chart. And if you're ready to go deeper, don't forget, there are hidden layers. The rhythm of angular, succedent, and cadent houses. The elemental cycles. The polarities pulling across the mansion. The mystery of empty rooms that come alive with transits. And the karmic lessons your soul is still unfolding. These aren't just abstract concepts. They're the blueprint of your growth, the story you're here to live. Now I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below. Which house are you most curious about in your own chart? And if this made astrology feel a little clearer and maybe even a little magical, hit like, subscribe, and watch this video next, because we're just getting started. And I'll see you there. Bye!